Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, President Tinubu meets APC senators-elect, asks them to respect party choice on leadership. Nasarawa Assembly crisis deepens as suspended speaker approves 20 special advisors. Logistics businesses, restaurants taking the heat of fuel subsidy removal in Katsina State. On the foreign scene, 2 bodies found after Tunisia Army helicopter goes missing. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. And now the news in details. President Bola Tinubu has appealed to all APC senators-elect to respect the zoning arrangements as announced by the National Working Committee of the party ahead of the inauguration of the 10th Senate on 13th of June 2023. The APC had endorsed Senator Godswill Akpabio from South-South for President of the Senate and Senator Jibrin Barau from Northwest for Deputy Senate President. However, some lawmakers of the ruling party had expressed their opposition to the proposed zoning formula and vowed to pursue their own ambitions to contest the various positions for which the party had already made choices. President Tinubu, who met with over 40 APC senators, appealed to them to toe the lines of the party's zoning arrangements in electing their presiding officers. The president, according to a statement from Akpabio media team, stressed that this is the right thing to do in support of the renewed hope agenda of his administration. Earlier at the meeting, which lasted late into the night, Senator Akpabio said majority of the party's senators-elect had reached out to other APC senators-elect and those from the opposition political parties with positive results and pledge of support. Meanwhile, aspirants for the speakership, Mukhtar Betara, Yusuf Adamugagdi, Miriam Onoha and Sada Soli attended the meeting. However, the Deputy Speaker, Ahmed Idris Wasi, and Aminu Sani Jaji, who were also vying for the seat, were conspicuously absent despite being invited for the meeting. In a similar vein, President Bola Tinubu on Thursday met with a group of aggrieved politicians within the People's Democratic Party known as the G5 or the Integrity Group. In attendance at the meeting at the Aso Rock are 1 serving governor and 4 former governors within the party. The governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, also attends the meeting. Addressing reporters, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde said that the G5 visited the president to apprise him of the latest happenings and the group's stance for fairness, equity and justice in the country.
So we have to keep seeing the president, to let him know what is happening. And for this evening, the G5, the Integrity Group, we also can let the president know what we speak for: fairness, justice, and equity. And we have to.
Similarly, Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umo Eno, who met with the president, said that after a closed door, politics is over and governance has started. Briefing reporters after the meeting, Eno said that he solicited President Tinubu's intervention in the Ibom Deep Seaport, a project that is believed will provide jobs to thousands of people and change the economic fortunes of the state when completed. The governor also urged the president to complete the Calabar-Itu Road, whose contract was awarded by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Speaking on the removal of the petroleum subsidy, and said that he will take measures to address it in his state next week.
My deputy governor distributed some palliatives to all the local government, and as I go back, I'm scheduled to have a meeting with all the petroleum marketers in Akwa Ibom. So we're looking at those ways, whatever we need to do and the president has directed that state governors, of course, should work on palliatives for the citizenry. We'll do just that. There are a number of things, and as we get into early next week, if we focus on Akwa Ibom, you'll see the various things we are going to put in place to support our people and shield them from the effect of the subsidy removal.
In the meantime, the race for leadership of the 10th National Assembly is coming to a climax as the 9th Assembly draws the curtains, with various contenders jostling for position, wooing newly elected and returning lawmakers to support their aspirations. In this report, Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman looks at the contenders and their rankings, as well as what will likely shape the choice of the new National Assembly leadership.
The principle of separation of powers is enshrined in the Constitution, giving each arm of government its due share of independence. But previous experience has shown that the executive arm influenced the emergence of leadership of the National Assembly despite its independence as an arm of government. The race for leadership of the 10th Assembly is more intense, with contenders defying the ruling party's zoning and candidates' endorsements in both the upper and lower chambers of the National Assembly. Could this be a departure from the past, or an indication that lawmakers want to exert their independence?
The unfortunate thing for the APC after this last election is that they do not have two-thirds majority, and where you have multiple candidates within the party, and the opposition has a block vote. It can be easy to negotiate with the opposition. And that's what happened in 2015.
That's why the APC has to be very careful in supporting, because that is just to support whoever is going to emerge as the Speaker of the 10th Assembly. Because you see, you need to negotiate. It's a matter of interest. Every party has interest. Every member elect has his own interest. And everyone is trying to cover his interests. You see, the bottom line is that everybody wants to come back.
Contenders for the position of Senate President and Speaker remain unshaken on their resolve to go into the contest, lobbying members-elect and other interest groups. But the President and the ruling party are also solid and remain supportive of their chosen candidates.
The opposition also, they have a role to play in determining that they also key in, so that it won't be winner take all. So that's why in most cases there has to be a balance between the ruling party and the opposition. But you see, one thing the party sometimes ignore is that they concentrate more on their party. They don't look outside the box.
How the National Assembly overcomes this election, if it is smooth, if it's not disruptive, then I believe that it will be a plus for the Tinubu administration.
How things will turn out will be seen on Tuesday when the Assembly is inaugurated. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And at the sub-national level, security is tightened amidst protest in Lafia as one of the factional speakers of the Nasarawa State House of Assembly, Ibrahim Balarabe, holds plenary session on Thursday. During the plenary, the only female lawmaker of the 7th Assembly, Hajara Danyaru, was sworn in. Earlier, Hajara was not in either of the camps during the crisis, but this swearing-in indicates her membership of the Balarabe-led factional camp. The lawmakers also approved the request of Governor Abdullahi Sule to appoint 20 special advisors. Following the approval of the governor for the renovation of the assembly complex, Balarabe called for a break, saying legislative duties will resume on July 10. This, he noted, is to enable the renovation work to commence. But as the plenary progressed, a group called the Nasarawa Coalition for Justice was protesting against the factional speakership of the assembly. They are calling for strict adherence to the due process and non-interference in picking who leads the 7th Assembly.
First of all, I remember my humble self from Roma Mama Sakin, from Nigeria Youth Advocate for Good Governance. I'm a real cool engineer of this state. Since right here, before we are born, they are calling us as leaders of tomorrow. We don't know what the tomorrow will reach us to us. We are fighting for our rights. Yeah, that's why we are here. We are here because of our rights, to protect our interests, our younger ones' interests. Daniel Ogawa Gassi is a freedom fighter like everybody here. He's fighting for our rights, rights on the rights. So we are here, Ogawa Gassi as a speaker. We didn't collect any system from Ogawa. We are doing this for solidarity movement because it's to second protect.
In favor of former speaker, who is Balarabe, former speaker Balarabe. Fortunately, the governor, His Excellency, issue undemocratic attitude by recognizing 11 out of 13. They show that, is it, if I may ask you a question, sir, is 11 is greater than 13? Never. And I'm not a lawyer by profession, but according to legal expert, they says any election conducted outside assembly conference, that election is null and void.
Now, there was panic at the Anambra State House of Assembly as 4 armed men suspected to be operatives of the Directorate of Security Services tried to whisk away member-elect for Nnewi North constituency, Onyekachuku Ike. Now, the armed men drove into the assembly complex in 3 vehicles and grabbed the member-elect after he participated in a valedictory Thanksgiving Mass for the 7th Assembly. They forced the member-elect into their vehicle and were trying to drive out of the assembly complex when security personnel quickly locked the exit gate. The acting clerk of the assembly, Esther Aneto, and other senior staff lamented that the suspected DSS operatives did not inform them or even the police personnel at the assembly before trying to take away the lawmaker. One of the suspected DSS operatives, however, explained that they had a court order to arrest the member-elect. It took the intervention of the Speaker, Uche Okafor, and the Deputy Governor, Onyeka Ibezim, to get the member-elect released. The federal government has declared Monday as a public holiday in commemoration of the June 12 Democracy Day. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Oluwatoyin Akinlade, announced this in a statement issued on Thursday. The government, while congratulating Nigerians on the occasion, stated that the country's democratic journey has encountered stormy and smooth sails, just like in many other climes. Ex-President Muhammadu Buhari had set aside June 12 as Democracy Day in his 2nd and final term in office. Previously, it was marked on May 29. Now, the removal of fuel subsidy and subsequent increase in petrol prices have ripple effects on the many businesses in Katsina struggling to keep up with the rising cost of transportation and fuel. Now, transport logistics businesses and restaurants in the state are no exception. In this report, Jamil Mabai takes a closer look at how logistics businesses and restaurants in Katsina are coping with the current situation and what measures they are taking to stay afloat.
Yusuf Bala owns a travel and logistics company, a sector yet untapped in Katsina State. Running a transport business is tough in a country where a liter is now about 500 naira.
So even though now the number of our passengers decreased to some certain level, because we used to record number of passengers in a week like 15 to Kano, 5 to Kaduna, Abuja, 1, 2, 3. So now the number is drastically down.
Faced with the difficult decision, he will have to cut down the number of his staff to cut losses.
So we come up with this business in order to bring teaming new the employment. So actually, if the number decrease, the patronage decrease, the employment will go down again. Since we are private, we need to manage just the number we can afford.
Fuel subsidy removal has hiked petrol prices across Nigeria, and this comes with economic cost. Yusuf is caught between increasing transport fares and the fear of losing clients. Restaurant businesses are also taking the heat from the fuel subsidy removal, with increase in the cost of production. Restaurant owners are gearing for tougher battle.
It's really going to affect, in fact, even before the removal of the subsidy, transport fare has been an issue for our staff, honestly. Because some of our staff, they live a bit far from the workplace. It's really going to be a huge challenge. We have no option but to, increase the salary, at least to cover the cost. I think, we are being very careful, honestly, on how to do the pricing. We'll try as much as possible to not to make customers, pay more, for our services.
Katsina, with a population of over 7 million people, has witnessed improved road networks and city expansion. Transportation business is lucrative, but the sector is underexploited in the state. Observers want government to stimulate the growth of this important sector. Jamil Mubai, reporting for Trust TV, Katsina.
The skyrocketing price of commodities is biting harder on Nigerians following pump price increase across the country. While traders are lamenting over the increase on cost of transporting their commodities, buyers are also expressing pain buying at higher price. Trust TV's Bello Musa visits Sheikh Abubakar Gumi Market in Kaduna and sent in this report.
Increase in the pump price is reflecting in the price of goods and services in the market. Nigerians are now paying higher to purchase foodstuff and other necessities in the market. The situation, Kaduna residents say, is biting hard on them.
After the increase of the price of fuel, it's drastically affected everything in the market. You see products that we're getting, a product that you're getting normally for maybe 100 naira, be skyrocketed. Sometimes they double the price. Like in the market now, you hardly find anything that has to do with price control.
You ask me, the price of goods are very good. It's going high every day. If you come to today's market to buy something, before you know, tomorrow it will add more.
We are now paying higher for the transportation of goods we buy from far places, and we have to include it in the price of items we sell. For this resident, the government should look into the plight of Nigerians and ease their suffering. They are appealing to government to introduce programs and policies that will stimulate the economy.
A call to the government regards to the opening of the border. The idea is good. When we have inflow of goods to Nigeria and we are exporting goods to Nigeria, the economy will boost. We have, and people will have something doing.
For me, for my take on that, I think the borders should be open. Because the essence of closing those borders was to control prices and also for us to appreciate our domestic commodity. Example, you see rice. They were like, if we should close the borders, people will not import rice again and the price of rice will go high. Now, if you can see, the local rice that we have here is only the high and the mighty that can afford it. The common man finds it difficult to afford the common rice.
To hit the nail at the point is to resist the high cost of imposing taxation on goods. You understand me? If they can reduce the high cost of imposing taxation of goods, you see the cost of living will be reduced to be minimal.
The reality of subsidy removal is here, though many Nigerians are expecting palliatives from government to ease the cushion its biting effect. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And in the southwestern part of the country, traders at the popular International Perishable Goods Market located at Mile 12 in Lagos are lamenting customers' low turnout since the announcement of the fuel subsidy removal by President Bola Tinubu. Already, some traders are counting losses, while others say that they are adjusting measurements as price soars. Abbas Ibrahim reports.
The traders, who lamented low customers turnout due to the hike in transport fare, also lamented hike in the price of some perishable items. Hike in the price of fuel has caused increase in the hike in price of transporting our goods from the north, hence the increase in the price of the commodities. We paid 1,500 naira per bag before, and now it is 2,200 to 2,500. Hence, we increase the price of the commodities, and we also reduce its measurement. Another trader who buys and sells perishable goods in my 12 market laments loss due to hike in the price.
And before we are buying this market, normal price 6,000. If it is cost over 8,000. Now we are buying it 22. The one I even buy there for yesterday, my money did not even complete. I want the government to assist us, so maybe they should reduce the money for this petrol so that everything will just come down. Aminu Musa is the sectional chairman at my 12 market, disclosed that the hike in the price of their commodities is alarming. Hence, urge the government as well as the independent fuel marketers to do something.
The goods that you buy 3,000, 4,000. Now you go to a farm and the price is almost 6,000, 5,000. You pay transport. The transport is extremely high. The petrol price has increased, so it has really affected the business. That we're appealing to government that they should try to refine our refineries that are in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and the federal government should do something about it, because we export. You can imagine, you export a crude oil and you import a refined oil. It is really embarrassing. It is really unacceptable.
Why the price of the many perishable goods increased, the price of tomatoes decreased drastically, as a basket is sold between 30 to 35,000 naira against 55 to 70,000 naira as it was sold some months back. The secretary to the Union of Tomatoes Trader in Matrof Market, Suleiman N. Adawa, disclosed that the decrease in the price of tomatoes is due to the presence of its varieties from the neighboring countries like Benin Republic, Ghana, Togo, and Cameroon.
If you look at our market now, you will see various tomatoes from other places. You will see Cameroon tomatoes, you will see Ghana tomatoes, you will see Yoruba tomatoes. And before, we had only not tomatoes. That's why our price reduced.
He said the subsidy removal has caused decrease in customers' turnout.
That's why we don't have enough markets.
The increase in the price of premium motor spirits did not directly affect some commodities which are being conveyed in trucks that use diesels, as the price remained constant. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Motorists who ply the Abuja-Kaduna highway have commended bold step taken by the Niger State government to force traders off the Abuja-Kaduna highway into Madala Market, thereby easing traffic flow. The new state governor, Muhammad Umar Bago, on assuming duty, led the team of task force to the area penultimate Thursday, when traders usually take a weekly market there, taking them off the road. On Thursday, the temple was sustained during the weekly market, as various security personnel were seen around the highway, forcing the traders to operate within the market premises or a few meters away from the road shoulder. The Director General, Niger State Traffic Management Agency, NISMA, Muhammad Awal Dattijo, said that motorists that usually park around to either drop or pick passengers have been restricted to do so only within the available filling stations or both lanes around the location.
that they remove they shift the market of clothes, but the other way around is not favoring us, we the Nigerians, we the individuals, because we come out here to look for our daily bread. So if governments want to shift this thing, this market, please they should provide a permanent place for us to go and stay and sell the market so that it will be confidence for everybody.
We are not staying on the road. At least we are not staying by the road, and they're not the one that's causing go slow. We are not staying on the road at all. And let him give us a place that we are going to stay now. Let him give us place. If you don't want us to stay, at least we are finding our daily bread. We cannot stay at home.
When I came, I was even surprised seeing everywhere scattered. I was like, where would I find my customer? She has to call me, and we have been making contacts to locate where she is. I was not able to locate. Before I could locate her, it took up to 2 hours. So some of our customers, we are not able to locate them. And they too, they are looking for us.
On security matters, the Nigeria Air Force has admitted that the airstrike that killed 39 herders in Nasarawa State 6 months ago was carried out by its operatives. In a letter received by US-based rights group Human Rights Watch, a senior commander acknowledged the airstrike on January 24, said it was part of an intelligence-driven operation against suspected terrorists. But researchers from HRW said that they have established the victims of the airstrike were cattle herders with no connection to terrorism. Previously, the governor of Nasarawa State had claimed that the attack was carried out by an unidentified drone. The airstrike happened in Kwatiri in Doma local government area of Nasarawa State. Human Rights Watch wrote to the Nigerian Chief of Air Staff with details of its findings and to request answers to specific questions about the airstrike. Air Commodore D.D. Pwajok responded on behalf of the Chief of Air Staff on May 17, acknowledging the operation. Now, he said that the strike was carried out as a result of credible intelligence and in synergy with other security forces and agencies in Nasarawa State. The General Officer commanding 8th Division, Major General Godwin Mutkut, has vowed that the perpetrators of the deadly attacks in Sokoto State will be nabbed and dealt with in a matter of days. General Mutkut made the pledge during a courtesy visit to the state governor Ahmed Aliyu Wednesday in Sokoto. Bandits last weekend unleashed terror on communities in Tangaza local government area of the state, killing 37 persons. Mutkut, who is the coordinator of the Operation Hadarin Daji, promised to work together with the state government to prevent deadly attacks in the state. Responding, Governor Aliyu assured them of his government's maximum support to secure the state. He said that the issue of security is part of his 9-point agenda. Therefore, he will leave no stone unturned in protecting his people. Delta State High Court 2, sitting in Efurung in Uri local government area, has convicted and sentenced 2 persons, Theophilus Mwachuku and Christopher Emeka Okoli, to death by hanging on 5 core charges of conspiracy, kidnapping, armed robbery, and illegal possession. And the presiding judge, Justice R. Hariman, said that the prosecution had proven all the offenses preferred against the defendants beyond a reasonable doubt. The complainant, Gabriel Adoge, had approached the court alleging that the defendants had robbed his wife of a Honda car at gunpoint. During the trial, the prosecution called the 2 victims and 3 policemen as witnesses, whereas the defendants testified in their defense but did not call any witnesses. Delivering her judgment after a careful examination of the available evidence, Justice Harriman held that the prosecution had proved all the offenses preferred against the defendants beyond a reasonable doubt. In a reaction, the prosecution counsel, Theophilus Onemu Woma Esquire, who is an assistant director in the State Ministry of Justice, held that he was satisfied with the judgment. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, no more overstay in Holy City. Details and more after the break.
I know we all desire to have a world-class city with working infrastructure and clean streets. That is why the Federal Capital Territory Administration is investing a lot of resources and manpower to ensure prompt evacuation of refuse from all nooks and crannies of the city. Now, this can only be sustained if all residents play their part by promptly paying their waste collection bills. Encourage everyone around you to be patriotic and pay their bills. The task of keeping Abuja clean is for all of us. Remember, soup way sweet, na money kill out. This message is from the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
That's great. Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a look at the top stories. President Tinubu meets APC senators-elect, asks them to respect party choice on leadership. Nasarawa Assembly crisis deepens as suspended speaker approves 20 special advisors. Now, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, on Thursday has sought for an order of the Presidential Election Petition Court to interrogate the Independent National Electoral Commission's experts on information and communication technology used for the conduct of the election. In two separate motions argued on his behalf, Patrick Ikweto SAN, Obi sought to know the quality of the ICT experts deployed in the use of technology for the conduct of the election. In the two motions, Obi LP prayed that the court to compel INEC to supply them with names and profile of ICT personnel that handled the technological aspects of the election. Obi claimed that the request, if granted, will assist him in the effective presentation of his petition challenging the declaration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as winner of the election. However, INEC, represented by Kemi Pinheiro SAN, objected to Obi's bid to subject his client to interrogation through incompetent applications. The senior lawyer argued that Obi's applications had become belated because he brought them outside the time allowed by law. The presiding justice, Haruna Tsammani, has reserved ruling in the applications. Justice Tsammani also fixed June 9 for further hearing in the petition. Nigeria's ombudsman, the Public Complaints Commission, is facing industrial unrest from Joint Staff Union demanding improved welfare and payment of outstanding allowances. Trust TV's Abdurrahman Umar reports that the union staged protest outside the premises of the commission in Abuja.
The Public Complaints Commission is the Nigeria's ombudsman, whose responsibility is to entertain, examine and investigate complaints on behalf of ordinary Nigerian workers. Speaking with the chairman, Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria Public Complaints Commission Chapter, Margaret Chujoke, said that government failed to recognize the existing mandate of the commission.
Yes, I would like to appeal to the federal government to fund the Public Complaints Commission. It's the Nigerian Ombudsman, the voice of the voiceless. Is where the common man can come in and seek redress. If the Public Complaints Commission is working, corruption will not take place, because corruption happens when there is failure of administrative processes. When people thwart administrative processes to their own gain is when corruption happens. But if Public Complaints Commission is working, you will not need. Now what the government is doing, instead of Public Complaints Commission, they are duplicating, creating more organizations on doing the same job that they should have funded us to do. The act is very robust.
It is not a normal day at the Public Complaints Commission headquarters, Abuja, where people come for a brief from administrative injustice. Three joint unions in the commission are protesting failure of the management to fully implement the approved consolidated legislative salary scale, COLS, among other demands.
We are picketing over the issue of staff welfare, particularly refusal of management to pay up arrears of 5 years promotion and then to pay up their COLS being owed. They still have some percentage that is yet to be paid.
While Assistant General Secretary Federal Council Nigerian Civil Service Union Daniel Otabo said the union is asking the management to honor the promise made to their staff.
They have reneged on the agreement despite series of meetings, correspondence, including a memorandum of understanding that was signed.
Tujaki said Public Complaints Commission is supposed to protect the interests of the ordinary people.
That's what makes it interesting, that a commission that is meant to be responsible for making sure there is no administrative injustice has now become the victim. So that's what makes it very interesting, that we are the victim, we are always the victim. So what we are here for is, as a result of administrative injustice, things that ought to have been done that were not done. That is exactly what we are protesting for today.
Yesterday, we didn't reach a truce. The negotiation ended in a deadlock.
The management and the three unions have returned to the negotiating table to arrive at amicable decision. Abdurrahman Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has directed the state's water board to immediately commence water supply to residents of Gusau, the state capital, who have been suffering from the scarcity that led to the death of some children a few weeks ago. The governor said that the state has been able to identify the problem of perennial water shortage and preferred short-term solutions to the problem. The report.
Water, they say, is life. But for residents of Gusau Metropolis, water has become a scarce commodity in the past 1.5 months. However, relief is coming their way as Governor Dauda Lawal's administration provided the needed funds and chemical for treatment to the state's water board to ensure adequate supply to Gusau residents.
So we tried as much as possible. His Excellency made promises which he fulfilled. Those problems were addressed, and His Excellency actually wanted me to go and find out whether the repairs have been done and how soon the Gusau and environments can be able to get water.
The Chief of Staff to the Governor, Mukhtar Lugga, said he is at the water board to deliver a strong message from the Governor, directing the board to immediately commence supply of water to reduce the plight of Gusau residents.
Which was a very strong message that he wants water to be given to the people today. And we have a deadline of close of business. So I expect that, inshallah, within the next few hours, there will be water. The acute shortage of water in Zamfara will be history from today. Inshallah, this is my thinking.
The State Deputy Governor Mani Mumini went round to inspect the facilities to ensure the board complies with the Governor's directive to bring relief to the Gusau residents based on their mission to rescue Zamfara State.
Now, Katsina residents living along Lambarimi, Alakalawa, Boza, Busau, Sani Road have made passionate appeal to Governor Dikko Radda's administration to reconstruct the road to allow their children attend school in Sani village for their secondary education. Female children cut their education short due to absence of access road to the only secondary school in the axis. Abdullahi Ahmadi reports that reconstructing the road will improve the agricultural and business activities in the communities with an estimated population of 7,000 people who are mostly farmers. The report.
Lambarimi to Sani Road covers a distance of about 17 kilometers, but commuters spend hours in transporting goods and services to nearby markets when it rains. Residents also lament the hardship they experience along the road, especially during emergencies. Our road is bad. We cannot transport our farm produce to markets with ease. And in the event of emergencies, many pregnant women lost their lives or babies before reaching hospitals. This road means everything to us. Our children had abandoned their schools, and elderly people had to abandon their travels, especially when it rains. We appealed to the state government to tar the road. We all voted for Malam Diko Umarada, and we are confident that we did not make a wrong choice. It is our hope and belief that it will be constructed within the first tenure of his administration. Similarly, school pupils, especially females among them, had to abandon their secondary education as the road is not passable during the rainy season. Residents often resort to contributions to maintain the road, calling on the new administration of Diko Umarada to reconstruct it to ease their difficulties.
This route can be problem, especially to the female student. If the government considers the problem of this road, so we can get in more students in this school. Especially this about 7 or 8 villages from this main road. Each village, at least we have 7 or 8,000 population of the people. At that time, during the school bus is working, we get more students. That's why most of the people, most of the students coming from this area, they are not coming to school up to now. We want the government to provide new bus, if it's possible.
Rural dwellers suffer from lack of access roads, and farm produce worth hundreds of millions of naira perished annually due to bad roads. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katana.
National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has reduced the number of days for pilgrims' stay in Medina from 7 to 5 days to avoid stampede due to the massive inflow of visitors across the world. And to this end, Adamawa pilgrims are rounding up their stay with a visit to major Islamic landmarks in the second holiest city in Islam. Sharif Al-Hassan reports.
Medina is the first contact and melting point of all intending pilgrims coming into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia before heading to perform the Hajj rites in Mecca. It is also the second holiest city in Islam after Mecca and celebrated as the place from which Prophet Muhammad established the Muslim community after his migration from Mecca. From its iconic Masjid al-Nabawi Mosque to structural design of buildings and rich Islamic heritage that captures the minds of the visitors. Nigerian pilgrims are not left out of this expedition.
Nigerian pilgrims from Adamawa State today will be visiting some major Islamic landmarks here in the city of Medina, the home of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Areas to be visited include the death crown of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Quba Mosque, the Qiblatani Mosque, the Grand Mosque of the Holy Prophet here in Medina, and of course, other areas needed to be visited by pilgrims throughout their stay in the holy city of Medina. Adamawa State intending pilgrims' first port of call is the Quba Mosque, the one you are seeing very right behind me. It holds an important place in the minds of Muslims across the world.
Al-Quba Masjid is the first masjid that was built by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was migrating from Mecca to Medina. He stopped over at Quba. Quba is a village 5 kilometers before entering Medina. So he stopped there. He prayed for 3 days. After that prayer for 3 days, so also Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first Jumu'ah that he prayed in Medina was here in Masjid al-Quba. And at the same time, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, anyone amongst you who perform his ablution in the middle of Medina and he travels down to Masjid al-Quba and offer 2 rak'ah prayers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reward him with Umrah.
Among other areas visited by the Adamawa State intending pilgrims included the Mount of Uhud and the date farm of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina.
Don haka suna nan anan tun da aka binne su kuma ba sake binne kowa ba anan.
This is a place where the Battle of Uhud took place, and we have like 70 Sahabas that are lying behind us here. We have the first tomb has about 3 people, 3 Sahabas, including the uncle of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is Hamza. While the other hall has about 67 Sahabas that are lying there, about 70 of them. So we come here to just pray for them.
With the visit to these major Islamic landmarks, Nigerian pilgrims have begun moving out of Medina to Mecca, the hub of the Hajj exercise.
It's time now to take a quick break. The news hour continues shortly. Join us again. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Inherited a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Time to take a look at business updates with Chiamaka Mwafo.
The Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, has reduced its transaction processing fee for NIBSS instant payment from 5 naira to 3 naira 75 kobo. In a letter dated May 31st, 2023, addressed to Payments Solution Service Providers, NIBSS stated that it was cutting its fees to drive financial inclusion and support innovation in the country. Banks currently charge a minimum of 10 naira as NIP fees. According to NIBSS, cashless transactions increased by 44.84% to 126.73 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2023, from 87.49 trillion naira in 2022. Namibia has banned the export of unprocessed lithium and other critical minerals, the government announced on Thursday as it seeks to profit from growing global demand for metals used in clean energy technologies. The Southern African country has significant deposits of lithium, which is vital for renewable energy storage, as well as rare earth minerals such as dysprosium and terbium needed for permanent magnets in the batteries of electric cars and wind turbines. Only small quantities of the specified minerals would be allowed after approval by the Minister of Mines. Namibia is one of the top global producers of uranium and gem quality diamonds, but its battery metals are attracting growing interest as the world shifts away from polluting fuels to renewable energy. Last year, Namibia signed an agreement to supply rare earth minerals to the European Union under the bloc's plan to reduce its reliance on China for critical minerals. And finally, the Eurozone entered a technical recession in the first 3 months of 2023 as soaring energy prices and rising interest rates drove inflation higher. The Eurozone is made up of 20 member countries of the European Union that have adopted the euro as their primary currency and sole legal tender. According to revised estimates released on Thursday by Eurostat, the EU Statistics Office, the Eurozone's gross domestic product shrank by 0.1% over the first 3 months of the year. Prior to its weak performance over January to March, the Eurozone also contracted by 0.1% in the last quarter of 2022. 2 consecutive GDP contractions are considered a technical recession. Eurostat had revised down an earlier forecast that has predicted slight growth after Germany, the largest economy in the Eurozone, disclosed last month that it had fallen into recession. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Mafo.
Now, on a tragic note, President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the death of Kano's foremost Imam, Sheikh Nasir Muhammad Nasir. In a statement on Thursday by Abiodun Oladunjoye, Director of Information to the President, Tinubu described the religious leader's death as a loss for the country due to his contributions to the spread of knowledge and rectitude. Tinubu said Sheikh Nasir will be long remembered for devoting his entire life to searching for and sharing knowledge, adding that his voice will never be forgotten for his years of preaching love and righteousness. The president condoles with his family, followers of the emirs of Kano and Bichi, and the Kano state government over the loss. Sheikh Nasir died on Wednesday at the age of 89. Now, on the foreign scene, Tunisia's Navy has retrieved 2 bodies from the sea after an army helicopter with 4 people on board vanished from the radar screens and crashed, the Defense Ministry said on Thursday. Navy divers are still searching for the 2 remaining people. It added earlier, the ministry said that communications have been lost with a helicopter which was making a night flight in the Cape Serad area Wednesday evening. The Tunisian military has lost several aircraft on training or reconnaissance missions in recent years. In October 2021, 3 soldiers were killed when an army helicopter crashed during a night exercise in the southern province of Gabes. The findings of an official investigation into the incident have still not been released. Now, 7 people, including 6 children, have been injured in a mass stabbing in the town of Annecy in the French Alps. Now, a man armed with a knife attacked a group of preschool children playing by a lake in the French Alps on Thursday, injuring 4 along with an adult and sending shockwaves through the country. The suspect was arrested at the scene in the town of Annecy after the attack at around 9:45 a.m. Reports say that he told police he was a Syrian asylum seeker. Interior Minister Gerald Ramanin tweeted that he had been arrested thanks to the rapid reaction of security forces. 2 of the children, believed to be aged around 3, and the adults were in critical condition and fighting for their lives in hospital. French President Emmanuel Macron denounced the stabbing as an act of absolute cowardice. And now in sports news, the Leon Stars of Sierra Leone have started preparations for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying fixture against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. John Kester's men had their first training session ahead of the game at the Samuel Canyon Door Stadium, Monrovia, on Thursday. Now, head coach Kester announced a 38-man squad for the crucial clash this week. The Gaffer is expected to announce the official squad for the tie next week. Sierra Leone occupy third position in Group A of the qualifiers with 4 points from 3 games and must beat the Super Eagles to keep alive their hopes of making it to the Côte d'Ivoire 2023. The Super Eagles top the standings with 9 points from the same number of matches. A point will be enough for Jose Peseria's side to qualify for the 2023 AFCON finals. For more on business updates, let's take a look at sports updates. I beg your pardon. Adeni Ajishafe has more.
More than 12 women rugby clubs have confirmed their participation at the forthcoming national team selection trials in Asaba, Delta State. The national women's team selection trials, which we hold from 1st to 2nd July 2023, will be used to select players for the women's national team that will later participate in a series of competitions lined up by Nigerian Rugby Football Federation, NRFF. Ahead of the tournament, 4 teams from Southeast, 3 clubs from Lagos, Benue Buffaloes Rugby Club Makurdi, Barewa Rugby Club from Kano, and Yankari Rugby Club, among others, will be participating in the event. More teams are expected to participate as the tournament draw near. And in football, Federation of International Football Association FIFA has honored Victor Osimhen by gifting him a special jersey and ball following the striker's outstanding performance for Napoli in the 2022-2023 season. Osimhen played a pivotal role for Napoli and also helped win the Scudetto for the first time in 33 years. The Nigerian striker scored 26 goals with 4 assists in 32 league matches for the Partenope. The striker also scored 5 times in 6 games for Napoli in the UEFA Champions League. The former Wolfsburg player was also named best forward and included in the team of the season in Italian Serie A. FIFA said the striker represents what football can do, with the continent of Africa needing more examples of players of his caliber in football with determination to succeed and the never say die spirit of an African football player in Victor Osimhen. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And that wraps it up for the News Hour tonight. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.